All right, you knew it was coming. Another interview for Music Maelstrom, and we have Gabe of ANERGY here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your project?
All right, so our band's been around since 2016. We are a punk band. We are kind of an old school influenced punk band, but we have a lot of other influences too. We have some grunge in there. We have some, I guess you could even say we have sometimes a little bit of like new metal influence and other types of things going on. A little bit of psychobilly influence maybe. But anyway, when you get down to it, we're a punk rock band. We like things hard and fast and loud and high energy. But we
High
also,
energy.
yeah, high energy, right? But we want everyone to have fun at a show. So I guess you could say whenever we play, we just want everyone to want to just break something. That's what we want.
So where can people find your music?
So we're on pretty much every platform you can think of. We're on Spotify, we're on Pandora Radio, we're on, Apple Music, iTunes, all that good stuff. We have a Bandcamp where you can download our music for free. We have all our music and all our YouTube videos. Everything's on YouTube. So you can find us pretty much anywhere, honestly.
Do you have any merch or upcoming shows?
So we don't have any shows scheduled at the moment because of the current situation, but that could change at any time because we do have some things in the pipeline that we're planning on doing later this year if everything goes according to plan, and we do get requests to play fairly often at the moment. So I think our biggest concern is keeping everyone safe and not having anyone have to deal with an unnecessary risk. Um, but if we feel that it's a reasonable time, then yes, we'd be happy to play a show.
Awesome. So what kind of got you started with this? Like, were there musical influences that made you decide, hey, I want to do that?
Yeah. So I've loved rock and roll for my whole life. I was originally born in Ohio, so that's where that probably comes from. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say I was in some local bands for several years, and I actually started as a jazz drummer, believe it or not.
Wow, that's quite the leap.
And I was in marching band in high school, so I marched a
Me
snare.
too.
Hey, awesome. So yeah, I've played a lot of different types of music as far as drumming goes, but rock and roll always called to me, and I was in some local bands, and then those didn't really go anywhere. So I was wandering around for a while watching other bands play and just thinking to myself, this is all cool and everything, but where's the stuff that I want to hear? Where's the stuff that I want to mosh around to, dance around to? And it occurred to me that, what they always say, if you want something to exist, sometimes you got to create it yourself. So I did that. I went around to people I knew. I said, hey, I'm trying to start a band. And next thing you knew, my friends were coming to me and introducing me to people. And that was how I found my first lineup. I met my first guitarist at a bar, and I met my at a house party, believe it or not.
Okay, wow. So how long has your group been together?
We've been together since 2016. Um, and that was also the year of our first show. We didn't release our first single until 2017, and we didn't release our first EP until 2019. But that was because we spent a lot of time working on the songs, getting them as good as we possibly could at the time, and making sure they were how we wanted them to be, playing them live a bunch of times. Because sometimes when you play a song, you might play it and record it as a little demo, and then you listen to it a couple months later and you just think, wow, we play it a lot better now than we did 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So we try to get it to that point where it's right there, and then
So a lot of that solid quality control.
Yeah, we try to have that quality control for sure. But sometimes songs are spontaneous. We'll be like, hey, we really like this and we just want to do it.
Well, you have to have the fun songs in there too. And sometimes I think that really adds to the essence of a band, having the tracks that you diligently worked on and having the ones that you just love to play.
Yeah, we've had a few that have come together in the studio. This next release that we're going to have, actually, one of the songs has never been played live. Uh,
Oh,
so I think people will be excited about that. At least anyone that's seen us before will be like, "Oh, what is this?" You know.
yeah. So
Hopefully.
I've given your music a listen and I love these vibes. There's something very classic about it that I genuinely love.
Thank you.
And my God, I cannot wait for people to hear it. So, of course, I have to ask you the signature Crypnotic interview question. What is the weirdest and or coolest thing that has ever happened to you at a show?
Oh man, that's a fun one. Well, there was a show where someone crowd surfed, and this was at a friend's house. I don't even remember if I was playing or not, but someone crowd surfed and actually smashed through a door. Not
Excuse me?
Yeah, no, they smashed through one of the people that lived there. His door got completely smashed through by somebody, and I'm not talking about like just broke the door. I'm talking about the actual door frame came out of the wall. He
Shit.
and he gets home and he's like, "What the hell did you guys do?" And I'm like, it's a show."
Yeah, it's a show. That's how it goes.
I've also seen one of my friends get. This was at a hardcore show, but I've seen one of my friends basically. Well, she got her ass stuck through the wall because she hit it so hard.
You've all got to do it once, at least once in your life.
I mean, good times. No one got hurt in either of those instances, by the way.
So bands tend to take influence from their favorite artists. So what would you say are like your top 5 must-haves?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of must-haves, but the ones that influence us the most, and this is just my opinion because my bandmates have their own, influences, but if I had to pick 5, let's see, I would say Agent Orange, huge influence for us. Rage Against the Machine, Nirvana, um, probably like the Adolescents and the Circle Jerks.
I was definitely getting some Circle Jerk and Agent Orange vibes when I listen to your stuff, and I love Agent Orange, like more than most other punk bands. Of course, I tend to have more of like I go for like that classic punk, whether you're going further back to the Ramones, whether you're going to Agent Orange, all that sound, like you can see where one builds off the other, and I love the cohesion when you hear all of that in new bands.
Well, I love the Sex Pistols and the Ramones, and they both influenced me too. Um, as far as like what we sound like, we've been compared with the Dead Kennedys before a couple times. We've been compared with Suicidal Tendencies also.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. So, what would you say is some music that you listen to that might be considered off brand for you? Like it's totally in left field from what your music sounds like.
That I enjoy, just like yeah, I like Boards of Canada.
Really? Tell me a little more about that.
So, oh geez, well, how do you explain Boards of Canada? Um,
I'm curious. I haven't heard of them, so I'm looking on Spotify now.
I think it's like a duo of producers, and they're very chill.
Okay.
Is
Oh, the first song up is Roygbiv, which means I already love them.
Yeah, it's very nice music to read to or to study to. I used to listen to it when I was in school. I would study to it. It was
Yeah,
very
like they're not a smaller band. Like they have a good following and they have like a lot of views on their stuff. So I'm surprised they slipped through the cracks for me. Because
no,
like I'm always looking for music to read to.
yeah, I mean, I enjoy all kinds of music. I love classical music. My favorite classical composer is Beethoven. So I like all kinds of stuff, but punk rock to me is just the most fun. I love playing it. I absolutely love playing it.
I love listening to it. So what is on the horizon for Energy that we could expect to be seen sooner rather than later?
Sooner rather than later, we've got 4 brand new songs in the pipeline. Um, so they are definitely, it's still going to sound like us. In my opinion, it's going to be some of the best stuff we've ever done so far. Um, and we're working on even more. So, new stuff is happening all the time. Um, but yeah, we're aiming to have more than one music video this time around. So in the past, we've done one at a time. And this time I was like, okay, we need to up the ante. Let's try to do more than one. So we're going to try to have at least 2 music videos this time to
Oh,
come out.
that's crazy awesome.
Yeah.
God.
As far as merchandise, because I apologize, I forgot to say anything about that. We have shirts, we have posters, we have patches, we have stickers. We actually have a bunch of shirt designs that we're looking to get out there. We have a shirt design for Energy Drink. We have a shirt design for Society that is out there now that you can get.
Those are both really good tracks.
Thank you. We have our regular band logo, just black and white band logo. And we're going to have all brand new artwork for this next release also. So there's going to be a lot of things. We're going to put CDs out too for this next one.
Really? Now that's classic. I was
Yeah.
so surprised when you saw like Rob Zombie, Sum 41. It's like, hey, new album. By the way, it comes with a cassette. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, that's been a thing. I've seen
Like if vinyls can make a comeback, so can the rest.
Well, a lot of hardcore bands and a lot of indie bands that I've seen lately have been doing tapes. And that's something we've considered doing, like a limited release, maybe of just for people that wanted it. But
I
yeah,
feel like a lot of times that can be more a collector's item.
it can. And the other thing, I think people like to have something physical that they can have. People just enjoy that. And also, it gives you an opportunity as an artist to release a little bit more things. Like you can put more artwork on the CD case, or you can have little liner notes or something, or like a special thanks that someone doesn't really get from a download.
Right.
I've personally always been trying to do things the way, like the digital way. And at the beginning, I used to argue against, like, what do we need CDs for? But then when we made a few, I was amazed at how many people actually wanted to buy them. And so I thought, okay, well, what the heck? We'll make some.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I definitely appreciate having physical media. Of course, that does end up with me turning into a little bit of a clutter bug because I run out of space for it. And that's how I am with my books. Like I have shelves and shelves of books, and my Kindle is just ignored in the corner. I feel like a lot of times bands, digital is how you really get it out there fast. You don't have to do as much production with it to get it ready to go. But there is definitely something to be said for having physical media. And especially if you love a band and later down the road, this is a classic sound and you have that physical media, like that's something.
Well, and our music's always been free too. Like that's the other thing is I know some bands choose to charge for their music and that's fine, but we kind of stick with that model where you can get it free on Bandcamp, and if you want, you can donate if you really like what we're doing. And we've actually had better luck with that than we have trying to charge anything, which is
I'm sure. So that tells me that this is really more a passion project for you.
It is. We do it because we enjoy it and because we want to. We don't do it because we're trying to make money. We don't do it because we care what anybody thinks about what we're trying to do. We just want to. So if people enjoy it, then cool. If they don't, well, they can find something else that they like, and that's fine. But yeah, we just like to do it.
Wow. So have you guys done like a full tour as Anergy?
So that's the thing. So right before COVID happened, I was in the process of planning our first mini tour, and that was going to be like a trial run. And then from there, we were going to see what we could do that might be bigger than that. And then, COVID hit. So we pretty much had to shut all that down for a while.
Right.
But yes, that is on the table as something that, we know people, we have connections in different places, in different states. And so I think we have the network we need to make that happen if we choose to in the future, absolutely. So that is something we'd like to do or find a way to do. Yes.
Yeah, COVID has definitely presented brand new challenges, as if being in a band isn't, difficult enough. And making shows happen, COVID just made it that much harder. But I also think like it's really brought more listeners out. Like when there's quarantine, I guess I need to find some music to listen to, and more people, instead of being out and about, they were on social media. They're seeing more promotions for bands. People have more time to do these projects they hadn't before. So I think it's a double-edged sword.
And you're right about that. And when we released Society, it was kind of in the middle of that. So it got a lot of attention just because more people were online. And it made it easier for us to promote it that way. So even though we never got to have a release show for that, which by the way, I've been thinking about just having like hey, it's a belated release show at some point, just for a laugh. But yeah, I learned a lot about online promotion because of this. I would say I really learned a lot more about how to promote digitally, because there was no other way at the time. And so yeah, it's a unique challenge for sure. And hopefully things get better soon.
They will. They have to. They have to.
Yeah, no, one thing that's been great has been seeing all the enthusiasm from people that are like, wait a minute, we miss live shows.
Yes.
And I do think it's funny that a lot more people are going out to shows now, because it's almost like they had that realization that maybe they didn't appreciate live bands as much as maybe they should have. And now that they can have live bands again, they're like, oh my God, I want to go to a show. And I'm like, okay, well, let's do it,
Everyone has missed it. The bands, the fans, even like the venues and promoters, like everyone is missing the shows.
Well, you really can't replace it. I mean, listening to music is great. And I know musicians throughout history have always been worried that things like radio or recording or whatever is going to remove the need for live music. But I really do think that people are always going to love seeing a live band.
It's its own experience.
Oh yeah, just with the energy, and just, people love it. People want to get into it, and you can't replicate that any other way.
No, it is entirely cathartic. So where are you guys based?
So we're based out of Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
But yeah.
What's the music scene like there?
So we have actually a surprisingly really vibrant scene here, and there's a great history of punk rock in this town. And it's funny because a lot of people are surprised by that, because they think of Charleston as, oh, it's Charleston, it's fancy, which it is. But there are quite a few people here that are of different frames of mind, in terms of a lot of us kind of see downtown as kind of like Disneyland, if that makes sense. So it's kind of tourist area, but there's more to Charleston than that. There's a lot of great venues here that book fantastic bands, bands you would never expect, I've seen come through here. One in particular, I've seen Agent Orange come through here. I met Mike Palm, and I got him to sign a copy of Living in Darkness for me. And he was really cool. He just hung out in the parking lot with everybody.
My envy is unparalleled right now.
I mean, they get around. I'm sure you can catch them. But yeah, that's just one example. But there's a ton of great bands that really come through this town. And I think the truth is, a lot of people just sometimes don't always know about it. So that's why it's so important for local bands to just do as much promoting as they can. Because I know there are a lot of people here that really want to see music like that. And I've gone to different music events, events that aren't even punk rock related. And I've had people say, man, I really want to hear some local heavy bands. Are there any of those? And I go, oh man, I got some bands for you. So yeah, there's really a lot of great stuff going on around here. There's a great hardcore scene in Somerville in particular. But yeah, there's a great history of rock and roll in Charleston area.
Well, then it's a good spot for you to be.
Another band that was really great to see that you'd never think would come here, but they did. I got to see the Dead Boys.
I was just talking about the Dead Boys
Yeah.
in an interview that I did. I just posted a clip of it.
Right.
Oh,
So
I'm so excited to come full circle.
when they did their re-release of Young, Loud, and Snotty, I was able to catch them at the Royal American here in town with a bunch of friends. It was probably one of the best punk rock shows that's ever happened around here. And I just remember people that were more old school coming up to them and going, "I can't believe you guys are here." And just a little aside that's cool for me. So my mom grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. And back when she was a teenager, the Ramones came on tour through Youngstown. This would be, I guess, between, it was either 1974 or 1976, somewhere around there. But my mom was at that show. And I went and I looked up, I went and looked up at the venue and everything and what other bands were playing. And apparently one of those shows was where Joey Ramone first met Cheetah Chrome of the Dead Boys and invited him to come play at CBGB. And then that was when the Dead Boys took off. So I was like, wow, I think my mom might have been there. So getting to see the Dead Boys myself, I was like, mind is blown. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
So yeah, it was super cool. But those are just a few examples of some of the great bands that have come through here.
Wow, that is fantastic. I have loved everything I've heard from ANERGY. To everyone watching, please go check them out on Spotify, on Bandcamp. I'll be able to put links in the description. Also, give these folks a follow on social media. It's always great to support bands, especially ones who have passion projects. And if you can't afford, to donate or get a shirt or a poster, sometimes the easiest thing to do is just to let other people know, hey, this is a great band, share some of their stuff. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for any music videos coming out. I'll make sure that you know about it here on the Crypnotic page. And really, Gabe, thank you so much for doing this interview. Midweek Music Maelstrom is here to help you guys find local bands, new music to listen to. We want to keep all the good stuff pumping through your headphones and find you some great shows and bands to go see.
Can I shout out a few bands, by the way?
Absolutely. I love that. Do it.
So a band that's been making local waves that they've also been touring around, Billy Bats and the Made Men. Fantastic band. They are much younger than me, but they kick total ass, and they're old school punk all the way. Can't get any better than that. Also Monsters from Outer Space, great horror punk band. Guardians Warlock, great local metal punk rock band. They're like a combination. And A Brevity is a really cool rock and roll band started by my previous guitarist Igor de Sousa. So yeah, they're kicking total butt everywhere they go. And I'd like to shout out Octopunk Media for doing our music video. And let's see. Well, anyway, I could shout out a million people, but check out the great Charleston bands that are around here. There's just so many of them.
Definitely. So guys, please, again, this is Gabe Segarra of ANERGY, and we're going to keep you up to date on everything going on. And please check out the rest of our Midweek Music Maelstrom videos. We're going to have more coming for you and more great music for you guys to discover. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks.